if you want to come up and talk about your transition away from religion, then you can request. Of course, I'll kind of kickstart it all off, and we'll go from there. You don't have to have your camera on. It's completely up to you. It's not one of them places where I'm just going to force it out of you. I mean, of course, I would want to see your beautiful face, but it's not mandatory. You don't have to have your camera on, okay? I know everybody's not the biggest camera person, so that's fine. I am live on Big O as well, so if you see me looking back and forth between cameras, that's why. This is a gift appreciated space, meaning you can give as you see fit. Of course, I do have a live goal, so feel free to contribute to that if you choose. However, all likes, shares, and comments will suffice, and I'm grateful for it all, okay? So, again, today we are touching on leaving religion, why you left religion, what you left religion to go to. Some people left religion and they didn't necessarily tap into spirituality. They just left religion, and that's just where they are right now, and that's okay. But I want to hear some feedback, so feel free, like I said, to request the chat, so you can come up. You don't have to have your camera on, but I do want some people to come up and kind of just talk about why they left religion, or if they're thinking about leaving religion, or why they choose religion. I don't really care. I'm open to all sides. But I want to create this safe space for us to kind of talk about these things. Y'all know me. There's really not too much that's off limits when it comes to the things that we can talk about and the things that we need to talk about. I feel like this is such a touchy subject that a lot of people don't want to get into. Believe it to me, a June Gemini, okay? Because we're going to get into it. Of course, we're going to keep it respectful. So if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. We're not here to attack nobody. We're not here to force no beliefs or practices or anything on anybody, okay? We're just here to hold space for the conversation to be had, for people to be heard, and you can either agree or disagree. Doesn't really matter, okay? So I'll talk about myself first, and as I'm talking, like I said, feel free to request if you want to come up and talk about your experience leaving religion. Me personally, I was born and raised in the church. Okay, we got somebody already. I grew up in the church. I'll bring you up in 1 second, Diaz. I'm gonna set the stage and then I'm gonna bring you up. I grew up in the church. My grandmother is still a pastor. She's an apostle now. At the time, she was a pastor. And my mother is a pastor now. At the time, she was I don't even think she was a minister yet. She was just going to church. So my family still has a family. We still have a family church here in DC, and my mother has a church in Maryland. And I decided to walk away from religion. I want to say at this point, maybe like 9 or 10 years ago. I left mentally before I left physically, if that makes sense. And I kind of explained that before up here. I have been questioning a lot of different things in regards to spirituality, in regards to religion. I had a lot of people that came around me because I was always around what I would say were normal people. People who didn't really go to church or people who believed in other things. And having that part of my life or having access to those type of people allowed me to hear a lot of different perspectives early on. Now, in the beginning, I wasn't really trying to hear too much of what they had to say, okay? I was the biggest advocate for like, because the Bible says. That was me. I was a Bible thumper, okay? Barely knew the Bible for real. Only knew what my grandmother would talk about, but I would thump that Bible at anybody, okay? Because I was just Team Jesus. I didn't want to hear nothing, okay? But eventually I got to a point where I was like, well, let me read this shit for myself. And when I started to actually tap deeper into the Bible, that's what actually led me away from the church. So that's my personal experience. I'm going to bring up, Diaz, where did you go? Request it again. I don't know where you went. But feel free to request the live if you want to come up and talk about your experience leaving church or leaving religion, or if you're in the middle and you kind of just want to talk about where you are. Yeah, feel free to request. But yeah, I left because I again had a lot of questions that could not be answered. I had a lot of questions that should have been easily answered, but wasn't. And then I started to think for myself. And ain't nothing worse, than a Christian who thinks for themselves, Ooh, what do you mean you're thinking? You're using your own brain? What? Who told you to do that? Okay. So me thinking for myself and asking certain questions and kind of trying to navigate things, it led me closer to spirituality. Spirituality just made sense. A lot of the things that I started to uncover about spirituality was more so confirmation than it was me learning something new, if that makes sense. Thank you for the follow. It was just a lot of confirmation. It was a lot of things that I had already been feeling internally. It was a lot of things that I kind of have put together in my head. It just resonated from a place that I never really explained to anybody, or I never really said out loud, if that makes sense. Versus me sitting in church, it felt like I had to force myself to feel what everybody around me was feeling, or force myself to see what everybody around me was seeing, or I felt like they were projecting onto me rather than invoking something that was already in me, if that makes sense, right? There's a difference between somebody bringing something out of you that's already naturally there, or bridging that gap so that you can have that understanding of what's already within you, versus somebody trying to push something onto you that you don't feel connected to in any type of way, right? And my only connection to religion was my family. If you told me we're going to take away your family, we're going to disconnect you from your family, I wouldn't necessarily have had a connection to religion anymore. That was my connection, right? Literally, I've said this before, when I was brought home from the hospital as a baby, my grandmother had started her church, and thank you for the heart me. My grandmother had started her church in the basement of our then family home, right? A year before I was born, right? So when I came home from the hospital, they literally took me, thank you for the gifts, they literally took me downstairs to the basement where they had set up like a church, right? It was chairs in there. It was like a little pulpit in the front. It was a little podium, and literally laid me on the podium. Okay, it gave like a Simba moment. Okay, if y'all ever watched Lion King and he held Simba up like that, it gave that, right? So before I can even conceptualize life, I was already being indoctrinated into something that I would later realize I wasn't really connected to. So growing up in a family that ran the church, it's always a difference, because I talk about this a lot, and it's usually people who just attended church who try to tell me something about it. And it's like, if there's any PKs in the chat, or any people whose parents or grandparents or close family are leaders in the church, you understand that that's a whole different experience than just coming to church on Sunday or just showing up for certain events at the church. It's a completely different experience. Not to say that the churchgoers' experience isn't valid, because whatever you went through, however it made you feel, however it contributed to your pain or your trauma, is valid, right? But there's a different energy, there's a different weight on your shoulders when your parents or your grandparents or you are the first family of a church. That shit is way different, okay? You can't just show up. You can't just think for yourself. You can't just feel how you feel. you can't just go with whatever flow you want to go with and do whatever you want to do and move however you want to move. And you can't do that. it's not sweet, okay? And there's a lot of pressure that comes with being connected to the first family of the church. Thank you so much for the roses. So even leaving the church, right? Because a lot of people would say, oh, I've had people say to me, oh, you feel this way about religion. And I speak specifically on Christianity because that's the religion that I was brought up in, right? I don't understand why people get so upset about that. Why y'all always coming for Christians? Babe, most of us are Christian. I mean, if you're black, that's like the main religion that most of us came from. We're not attacking you directly. We're just talking about our experience. Lord. But yeah, when I first left, well, again, what I was saying was a lot of people would tell me, oh, you feel the way you do because you had church hurt, right? And it's like, no, I didn't. Okay? My family was the church. Yes, it was a lot of pressure. Yeah, it was a lot of different things that happened. But I didn't leave because I had church hurt. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know that to be church hurt. It was just, to me, it was just my family just being my family because that's all I was used to. So they didn't necessarily hurt my feelings. I wasn't outcasted from the church. I didn't get in trouble and, you know, nothing like that. Like, I had free range for the most part within the church. I can go in my grandmama's office while she was preaching and take a nap if I wanted to, and lay on her couch and, you know what I'm saying, use her personal bathroom and, you know, all types of things. I had access to everything, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like I was captive and belittled and something like it. It wasn't like that for me. Now, some people do go through that, and that is some of the reason why some people leave, but that's just not my story, right? For me, you know, when I was in church, when I was loyal to the church, when I was participating in everything, I was writing the plays for the holiday season. So I wrote the Easter plays, I wrote the Christmas plays, I wrote the New Year's Eve plays. At one point I was over the children's dance ministry. I ushered, of course, because that's like a rite of passage. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for the roses, my love. Ushering in church, especially if you in the first family, baby, that's a rite of passage. That's just a part of it. Okay, you're gonna usher, you're gonna sing, you're gonna do something, you're gonna play an instrument, you're gonna do fucking something. Okay. So I sung in a praise team. Then my mother started a gospel group that derived from the praise team. I sung in that. When we would travel wherever all across the U.S. to do different shows and all types of things like that. Like I said, I was over the kids dance ministry at one point. I wrote all the plays. I was my grandmother's armor bearer, so when she would be preaching, I would be standing there with the water. You know what I'm saying? Take the top off for her. Make sure she's hydrated. She's an elder. I did all of that. I was very active. So it wasn't like I was just sitting back, you know what I'm saying, just showing up. Like, no, I was very active. Some of it, of course, was because I was taught to be, but then also I naturally wanted to participate. You know what I'm saying? I didn't mind it. Going to church for me was like just hanging out with your family every day. It was just a regular thing. It didn't all the time feel like church, if that makes sense. It just felt like this is what we do. It's like a family business. Like if your family owned a restaurant and you just show up at the restaurant every day, sometimes you wait a table. Thank you for the heart meat. Sometimes you wait a table. Sometimes you check out somebody. Sometimes you just sit in the back and chill. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of thing. Like it just felt like family gatherings all throughout the week. Now, of course, sometimes that shit was annoying if you wanted to, you know, because I was young, so I wanted to go outside. I wanted to do things on the weekend. Even going, you know, being in school, there would be certain things that I wanted to do, you know, go with my friends to this event or go to this game after school or whatever, and I couldn't do some of those things because we had choir practice, we had praise team rehearsal, we had my mother's group rehearsal, we had to prep for a play, or we had to get this together, we had to get that together, we had to prep for the fish fry for Saturday, we had to Bible study. My mother had a ministers meeting. She had a church leaders meeting because she was on the basically they called it a leadership board. So all of the leaders of each auxiliary is what they called them, would come together and have a meeting. So she had that meeting. She had that meeting. So it was like a lot of things I wasn't able to do, which sucked, of course. But again, it didn't feel like it was because of church. It felt like this is just what the family does, and eventually I just got kind of used to it. And again, for anybody just joining, we're just talking about leaving religion. This is a safe space, so don't come in my comments trying to beat nobody up because of their beliefs or their feelings or whatever the case is. Keep it respectful, keep it all with love. If you do want to request to come up and tell your personal story about leaving religion, or even ask me questions about me leaving religion, feel free to send a request. Again, keep it respectful. You don't have to have your camera on. It can be audio only. It doesn't matter. But yeah, we just chit-chatting today. So what ushered me, again, into eventually, I'm going to say what just started to slowly turn me off, or slowly, I'm going to say slowly give me the confirmation that this wasn't for me. The first thing was, and I remember this vividly. Hey Greg, hey everybody joining in, hey Nitra. The first thing that I remember vividly was I had a conversation. I had this guy that I was talking to at the time, and he was Muslim, right? So he wasn't even religious. Well, I mean, he wasn't even spiritual. He was Muslim, so he was following a different religion. And we was having a conversation, I believe, about Jesus rising from the dead or something like that. Something along those lines, right? Because y'all know, if I'm not mistaken, Muslims believe in Muhammad being the final prophet or the most important prophet to come, and Christians, we believe in Jesus, right? Or I did believe in Jesus, but Christians believe in Jesus. Okay, cool. So we was having a conversation about it, and he kept saying, how do you know that that's true? And I'm like, what you mean how to know it's true? Because in the book of this and that, and in the Bible, it says blah, 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 blah. And he was like, how do you know that's true? I'm like, what the, did you not just hear me? In this book, in this verse, it said, wop the wop, whoop the whoop. Did you not hear what I said? And he said it again. How do you know that that's true? And that shit kept irritating me. It was really getting under my skin. But I always say my higher self, or the wiser part of me, started to dial in on what exactly he was trying to get at, right? And I kind of got irritated, and it kind of made me angry a little bit because it was pushing me beyond the place that I've allowed myself to go. And that's one thing that I can say being in the first family kind of caused me to do. Thank you for the heart meme. I mean, for the gift, my love. It warped my mind to the point where I never considered any other options. I just tried to force myself. Thank you for the heart meme. I just tried to force myself to believe what I was told, right? So even though I didn't feel connected to what it was, I still was like, well, this has to be right. This is the only option. So I got to figure out that connection. I got to find that connection. Even though I don't have it and I don't feel it, okay? And I'm growing up watching people shout around the church and run around and speak in tongues and climb up the wall and shit and, you know what I'm saying, roll over and all types of stuff, okay? I've been seeing this since I was able to talk and walk. This has been a part of my life. Even though I've seen all of this, I still didn't feel a direct connection to any of it. It just felt like something I had to do, right? Thank you so much for the gift. It just felt like something that was put in my space that they knew what was best for me, type of thing. That's what it felt like. They know what's best for me, so I have to force myself to see it the way that they do. That's how I was taking it, right? So when he kept saying, you know, how do you believe that's true? How do you know that's true? How do you know that's true? I got so irritated, I hung up. You know what I'm saying? I had to get off the phone because it was taking my mind to places that I never allowed my mind to go. But it's almost like if you're standing in front of a door, right? If you're standing in front of a door, and you always are about to open that door, but you don't. That's how I felt. It felt like I had always seen this door of other options and possibilities and other thoughts, but I never allowed myself to go through it, if that makes sense. And now I'm having this conversation, and I'm more tempted to walk through this door and figure out what the hell is on the other side of this. Because one thing that my grandmother kept saying is God's word will never come back void, right? Whatever is written, that's what it is. That's what it's going to be, blah, 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 blah. Hello, my love. And I'm like, okay, if I walk through this door, if I consider these other options, if I just go digging, go looking, go searching, and Christianity is right for me, I should be led back to it. Makes perfect sense, right? If they say before the world there was the word or something like that, or whatever. So I'm like, hey, if this is all accurate, if no matter where I go, this is going to be the truth, no matter where I go, this is what it is, then I should be able to go do research. I should be able to look further. I should be able to go and look into other things and consider other options, and those things should lead me back to where I started. Makes perfect sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, cool. Even with me making that decision in my head to give myself permission to even start that process, right? I still felt so weird within my own energy. I felt like I was betraying my family. I felt like I was betraying, the people who love me. You know, I felt like I was going against the grain. It felt very taboo. So I would kind of like research a little bit, and then I would feel weird about it, and then I would stop, and then I would go to church and kind of like force myself to lock in, if that makes sense. But then I would hear something at church. I'm like, that don't sound right. And something will spark that interest again. And I'll go back to researching a little bit. And then I'll go back to church and lock in again. And it was like this repetitive back and forth thing for a while. Anika, hold your question, but I'm going to come back to it. It was back and forth for a minute. I want to say at least like 2 solid years. That's how it was. Because I was still, all during this time, I was still singing. I was still showing up. I was still, doing whatever I was told to do. I was still helping my grandma out. Nobody around me knew the inner conflict that I was going through, because nothing really changed as far as they could tell. But internally, I was all over the place. I was conflicted. Okay, real bad, because it never felt natural to me. Going to church, participating and singing. My family is full of singers, right? My family is full of singers and musicians, so that part felt natural, because that's what it's in my blood to do that, right? So that felt supernatural. I love doing that. To this day, if my mother called me right now, like, we got a service and they booked us for this and that, I would go sing to this day. And I haven't been to church in I don't know how long. But I would go back, because that's just a family thing. That's just generational. That's just genetic at that point, right? But everything else, you know what I'm saying, it just started to not sit with me well. And then I always share this part. I started to really pay more attention to the business of the church. And that started to really turn me off enough to give me the permission that I needed to really allow myself to full-fledged dive into research and discovery. Because, you know, seeing or being in, again, I had access. So I would sit in my grandmother's office when she would have her meetings with her deacons and whoever else. And because my mother was, thank you, my love, because my mother was a huge, was involved a lot, as well as her sister and you know, their siblings are all in ministry. But it was just my mom and her sister at the church at that point. But because they were so involved, you know, me and my cousins, we had access to be in those meetings and to hear the different things that they were discussing and to hear the different problems that they were going through, the different bills that needed to be paid, the different things that needed to be handled behind the scenes and stuff like that. So at first it was just background noise, you know what I'm saying? Because you're not really paying attention to it. You get used to them talking about this and talking about that. And your mind is not really telling you, thank you for the roses. Your mind is not really telling you, hey, lock in, pay attention to what they're saying, whatever. It's just like, we just here, it's a meeting, they yapping, I'm on my phone scrolling, or I go in the back and lay down on the damn couch, you know, because I just came from school, or whatever the case is. But when I graduated high school, I never went to college, so I didn't go away, so I was still active at church. Nothing really changed. When I graduated, that's when all of those things started to kind of like, that's when I was pushed more to research. Thank you so much for the gifts. I was pushed more to look into stuff. That's when all of this stuff started happening. Because now, you know, when you get 17, 18, really 16, 17, 18, your mindset starts to change, right? My mother said you start smelling yourself. You start feeling a little grown. You know what I'm saying? You out doing what you want to do and, you know, all these other things. So my mind was in a different space than it was before. I wasn't on autopilot anymore and just a kid being a kid and being told what to do and all of that. Now I'm thinking for myself. I'm looking at things for myself, right? And I was always the kid to do that anyway, but I never gave myself permission to do that in that space. Right? So I would do it in other areas of life. You know, I would leave school and skip school and, you know, do all types of shit that I wanted to do. Thank you for the heart me. I would do whatever the fuck I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? To argue my mama down and we would get into it and all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? But I never gave myself the permission to do that in regards to religion, to go against the grain in that regard. And a lot of it was fear. Number one was fear of going to hell. Because they tell, you know, growing up in a black ass family that's religious, baby, you learn about hell before you can even really speak a full sentence. Okay? You done heard the devil or the name devil, the title devil 1100 times before you can even walk right or run. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just a normal part of it. So a lot of it was fear, because I don't want to go to hell. And, you know, my grandmother would, you're going to go to hell and you're going to burn and it's going to be a fire that lasts forever. And in my head, I'm just like, I don't want to be burning forever. Like, you know, a lot of us know what it feels like to burn yourself. And I'm just like all over my body, like, I was terrified, right? To the point where I was scared of the dark. The majority of my life, I was scared of the dark. Because I just knew that the devil was somewhere, just around. You know what I'm saying? Because my grandma would be like, evil is always present. And I'm like, oh shit, Satan's in this room. Satan's in this goddamn room. You know what I'm saying? I was terrified. Like, I would wake up in the middle of the night, 3, 4, 5 a.m. and be screaming for my mom and my daddy to come in there and lay with me until I went back to sleep. Like, I was terrified of the dark. Like, real shit. I slept with my great aunt. My great aunt was one of the people who raised me like in my early childhood all through elementary school. And I ain't stopped sleeping with her until I was maybe in 6th grade. Because I'm not about to sleep in that bed by myself, in that room by myself, in this dark. And my grandfather passed, I want to say when I was in like 4th or 5th grade. And that was my first encounter with ancestors or with the spirit, because I was laying in that bed by myself in my room, because I had a room at my great aunt and my father's mother they were sisters. Okay, they're sisters, right? So they had a house together. They still live together to this day. They've been living together since they moved up here from North Carolina way back in the day, right? So I had my own room and all of that. It was my dad's old room, but that was my room. And I was laying in there one day trying to go to sleep, because it was a school night and they told me go in there and go to sleep. And I had my back facing the door and I was facing the wall. And my grandfather had passed maybe like a year before that or something. And I heard that man real close to my head say my name. Baby, listen. I could hear the voice of my grandfather. And me and my grandfather was super close. Got him tatted, all of that, right? I could hear his voice. But it's dark as shit in this room, and he's not here. He's unalive. So I know I ain't just hear what I think I just heard. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know how to take that, because in my family, again, growing up religious, growing up Christian, they don't do ancestors communicating with you, talking to the dead, you know, all of that. They don't believe in that, okay? They only hear the voice of the Lord. Okay? They don't believe in all that. So nobody had educated me on that. And I didn't even think to ask about it, because I just automatically assumed that was the devil. And my grandma used to always say the devil will trick you and, you know, do this and do that and blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, he's trying to get me. So I wasn't about to sleep in that goddamn room by myself. Okay? No. I was terrified. So, going through high school, graduating from high school, I started thinking for myself. And like I said before, ain't nothing more triggering to the Black Christian community than you thinking for your goddamn self. Okay? And you using common sense. So I started asking common sense questions. And because I'm, hello, everybody joining. Because I'm in church all goddamn week for Bible study and this meeting and that meeting, whatever. Okay? I would go to Bible study and I start asking questions. And my grandmother used to get so goddamn irritated with me, because there were certain things that she just couldn't answer. And there were certain things that made sense that she was upset that it made sense. I would ask my mother questions. Certain things made sense that she was upset that made sense. You know what I'm saying? And I just eventually was like, you know what? I'm not going to ask y'all shit else. Because every time I ask y'all a question, it's like they're taking it personal. And it's like, if your job is to inform and educate and show people the way and all of these things, then why y'all getting so touchy? You know what I'm saying? Like, you should just be able to say, hey, I don't know, or I don't have that information, or that's above my pay grade, or whatever, and keep it pushing. But they were taking it so personal to the point where I could feel, you know how like somebody responds and you can feel the tension in their response. You can feel the animosity in their response. You can feel that they not fucking with what you're doing right now. And then especially because I'm doing it in a public forum where there's other people here. So it's like, how dare you pose a question or you know, say something in front of all these other people, and now they have the opportunity to think on what you just said or consider what you just said. 555, shout out to the chat. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, my love, for the gift. I appreciate it. So a lot of it was just like, all right, I'm gonna shut up and I'm just gonna go do my own research. And that's when I started to research everything. It wasn't just spirituality, because I didn't even know where to start with spirituality. I just started looking into other religions first. I looked into Islam. I looked into Buddhism. I looked into the culture of Muslims, why they do the things that they do, why they believe the things that they do. I just started looking into all of that. And what made me start looking into spirituality specifically is I was on YouTube, and number one, backstory, I found out that I was a Gemini when I was in elementary school, maybe like 1st or 2nd grade, right? Because my aunt who raised me, she's a Gemini, right? So I have always worn my Gemini badge with honor, okay? I would go to school like, yeah, I'm a Gemini. I've been doing that. I've been on that since I was like 6 or 7, okay? Always a proud Gemini. Shout out to Tupac. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar, his birthday today. You know what I'm saying? I just was always proud of that. Thank you, my love, for the gifts. So fast forward to me being on YouTube, right? I'm in the midst of studying all these different things and looking into all these different things. And I saw a Gemini reading, right? And I was like, thank you for the gift, my love. I'm like, they got me intrigued with the Gemini part, right? I'm already intrigued. Thank you, my love. I'm already intrigued because, you know, I'm a proud Gemini. Hello. And my mom used to always go tell people, oh, she a Gemini. You know, they crazy as hell. I'm like, girl, you's a hater. You know, like, she been saying that shit my whole life, too. So I really wore it with a badge of honor. So I'm like, well, let me just click on this video and just see what they're talking about. If I don't feel it, if something feel off, I'm gonna click off of it. Y'all, I clicked on this goddamn video, and that lady started reading me down. Do you hear me? Thank you, my love. Reading me down. Word for word, bar for bar, all in my business. Drove up in my driveway, ran over my feet, pulled back, backed in, went forward, parked in my living room, got out, made some coffee, okay, hopped in my bed, and put the covers on her. She was all in my business. And at this point, I was going through a relationship. Well, I was going through the ending of a relationship, right? Because another thing about the church, or I'm going to say about some Christians, because I don't want to generalize everybody, they will allow you to participate in mess. And what I mean by that is, at the time, I was with a man who I got with when he was married, right? Eventually he left her for me and got a divorce and the whole nine, and I've been through that story on here before. Lord, that was a time, okay? But because of that particular man, his grandmother sung with my grandmother, and my family gospel group back in the day, they didn't give a shit. They allowed me to do that. Okay, mind you, I had just turned 21 at this point. That man was all of like 34. Okay, I think he had turned 35, maybe a month of us dating. And they was with the shit. Ain't nobody stopped me. Ain't nobody set me down and say, hey, that ain't the way, right? Because generational curses were able to thrive in that environment. The church is packed full of generational curses, especially if you are a part of the first family. And a lot of that shit gets tripled over and swept under the rug because it's hard for those who have titles to be held accountable or to hold themselves accountable. And the curse was, my family, the women in my family, had a history of dealing with married men. My grandfather, my mother's father, which is my grandmother's first husband, my granddaddy that I got tatted and everything, the one who talked to me when I was asleep, all that, who I love dearly, was married when he got with my grandmama. And he left his family in South Carolina and moved up here to D.C. to be with my chocolate grandma with the fatty, okay? Because grandma was built back then. Grandma looked good. I said, I mean, I kind of understand. It ain't right, but I get it. He was walking around with them yams, okay? And that man said, I'm giving it all up. I give myself away so you can use me. That's so trifling, but it happened, and it's a part of my story. I wouldn't be here without that fornication. So, I mean, was it right? No. But I'm here. Aren't you glad I'm here? Amen. Put my foot up. Hallelujah. Okay, anyway. That's not right. I'm sorry. But yeah, so he dipped. He left them people back in South Kakalaki. He said, I'm gone. Don't contact me. Don't talk to me. I don't want nothing to do with none of y'all. His kids included. He want nothing to do with none of them. Which is trifling as hell. And he moved up here and had my mama with my grandma. And he was the one who got the message to start the church that my grandmother pastors. It was his idea. He came up with the name. He came up with the idea. He said God told him to blah, 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 blah. And that my grandma was supposed to be the pastor of this church. And that's how it was, and that's how it went. But all of them skeletons was in that damn closet. Now tell me how you can lead people when you have this as your background and as your history. Thank y'all for the roses. How can you get in front of people and preach and tell them how they should be living and dictate to them what to do and not to do when this is the history of you and your family and your bloodline? That's crazy as hell. And these are the type of things that I start thinking about the older that I got. I'm like, we come in here every Sunday and you preaching to us about how we need to give and how we need to do this and how we need to get our life right and how we need to blah, 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 blah. But when my granddaddy passed away, his real wife, I'm not going to say his real wife, that's shady. His first wife came and got access to his body because she was his first wife. Even though my grandmama was with that man for 40 years, 40 plus, that lady came and took his body and was able to bury him the way that she saw fit. So we didn't get to see him past him being in the hospital and passing away. We didn't get to bury him. We didn't get to say our final goodbyes in the way that everybody would. No, they never got divorced. That man just said, I'm gone. I'll see y'all niggas on the other side. And then he was so goddamn mean to them, he wrote them out of his will. Literally, he wrote his will. My granddaddy was petty. He was an Aries. No tea, no shade to Aries, but I mean, I love y'all, but you know, y'all a little wild. It gets wild with them. Hey T, how you doing? It gets a little crazy with them Aries. You gotta watch up. Is that what I'm saying? So when they don't give a fuck, they don't give a damn. Do you hear me? Baby, he sat down there and he wrote in his will, when I die, don't give, and he named them by name, This person, this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, they don't get shit. They don't get access to nothing. He wrote that shit on paper. Who does that? That's insanity. And this is what the church was built off of. This is the energy that the church was built off of. So growing up, you know, we had a lot of division. There was division between my mother and her siblings because it was 4 of them and 3 different baby daddies. That generational curse got passed down to me and my siblings because there's 3 of us. My mother got 3 kids and we all got different daddies. So generational curse passed down. Messing with married men. Division between the siblings. My mother and her siblings were divided, and my grandma had a lot to do with that. My grandmother and her siblings at one point was divided, and her mama had a lot to do with that. So it was just so many different things that was creating the energy of this church. And when you a child, you know what I'm saying, you're not really, don't call me right now, I'm gonna lie. When you a child, you're not, number one, you're not privy to a lot of this information. That's number one, right? You just see, I just saw a lot of the cattiness between my mother and her sister and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? When you a kid, you notice little stuff. You notice that this family member don't like that family member, and this person beefing with that person, and blah, 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 blah. And when we go to church, this person roll their eyes, and this person being shady. You see little shit like that, but you don't know how we got here, why it is the way it is, who's keeping it going, who's orchestrating this shit behind closed doors. You're not seeing a lot of that part of it, right? So the older I got, my mom was always very open and candid with me and my siblings. She's a Pisces, okay? And y'all know I teach astrology, so some of it I'm going to bring into this. They say anything out their mouth. Love them to death, but they say anything sometimes. And it's just like, wow, what the hell is wrong with you, right? My mother, she just kept it pee. She just said a lot of shit to us about what was going on and I don't, what that be, and blah, 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 blah. So the older I got, the more I'm listening in, the more I'm paying attention. Because, you know, I grew up in a generation where they told you, get out of my mouth, go in the other room. Okay? That's a lost science. Because why the fuck do y'all got y'all kids in business? That's a whole nother life. But I'm just saying, I come from the generation where you took your ass in the other room. You're not about to sit in here and listen to grown folks' conversation. Okay? That's how I grew up. You know what I'm saying? I'm a millennial. You know, and we couldn't sit in there and listen to all that and furthermore add to the conversation. Get out of my damn mouth and take your little fast ass in the other room. Okay? That's how I grew up. Anyway. So the older I got, now I could be in the room. You know what I'm saying? I got the middle school, and I developed very fast. Not only because girls, we develop faster naturally, but also just because I just, you know, I just developed quickly. You know what I'm saying? I always could think for myself. You know, shout out to the Gemini. I just was quick, right? So my mother didn't mind if I sat in there when I got to like middle school, like 7th, 8th grade and on up. By the time I got to high school, I was all the way in the conversations. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I got in trouble because I shouldn't have said what I was supposed to say. But I was in the room, right? So now I'm starting to pay attention. Now I'm starting to peep more. Now I'm starting to see more. And I'm like, this shit is really fucked up. Like, I didn't realize that we had all this going on, right? And all of this, you know, they say a fish rots from the head down, which means those who are in leadership, those who are, you know, in control, those who are, hello everybody just joining, thank you for the heart me, my love. Those who are over the others, right, play a role in making sure that everybody else falls in line and that everybody else is taken care of, and that everybody else is getting what they need, so on and so forth, right? So for that to be the foundation of the church, of my grandmother's church, and we going and participating in this every single day while we have all of this shit going on, and nobody is addressing it, nobody is talking about it. You know, therapy when I was growing up was taboo for black people. Black people didn't go to therapy when I was growing up. And if you did, they automatically assumed that you was crazy or you had something wrong with you. It wasn't like what it is now where people are like, oh my God, you in therapy? That's so good. No, it was like, you in therapy? What the fuck? Is you okay? You know what I'm saying? What you trying to unalive yourself or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was very like, I'm kind of scared of you. Are you schizophrenic? You know, you got something going on? Like, people didn't look at it as a good thing back then. So, my family, of course, wasn't going to participate in that. And then I started to question, like, okay, for people to appear to be so connected to this source, right? To God, to this energy of love and you know, this energy that holds them accountable and keeps them where they need to be and helps them get to the goals and dreams and blah, 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 blah. He ain't point out to none of y'all that y'all need help. Now he come in here, he tell y'all that he gonna give you a blessing if you get $5. But he ain't never tell you that you need to sit down with your kids and figure out what the hell going on. You know what I'm saying? These are different things. I gave y'all a backstory so you can see why it didn't make sense to me. Because why are y'all not able to connect those dots? You know, when a man bled and died 2,000, 3,000 years ago, but you don't know that we got X, Y, and Z wrong with our family and our bloodline and our generation. Shit like that didn't make sense to me the older I got. That's not clicking for me. That's not making sense for me. I need you to make that make sense for me. And I wasn't going to necessarily be able to have those types of thought processes at a young age because that wasn't even in my realm of thought. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even considering those types of things. But the older you get, now I'm going through my own shit. And I'm realizing my mistakes, my fuck-ups. I'm realizing what I got from some of y'all through passed down trauma, passed down generational curses. I'm starting to piece it together. This is without therapy. This is just me being observant. Excuse me. And noticing the patterns of what the hell is going on and what my life looks like now. And trying to become a better version of me. Right? So I ended up watching that reading. That lady read me down. So then I'm like, shit. Like, now I'm almost addicted in a certain way. It's like I can't speak from experience, so I ain't never did no hard drugs. But it's like when you first, do something that is addictive. That first hit of whatever that thing is, whether it's sexual, whether it's, a substance, whatever it is, that's how it felt tapping into that. And I felt so connected to what she was doing and how she was presenting the information and how real and how raw she was getting just from the scope of Geminis. It wasn't even like, hey, this is your personal thing. This was just a collective reading that I just stumbled across on goddamn YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And that shit blew my mind. So now, in my head, I'm still going to church. I'm still singing with my mom. I'm still traveling to go to different services and sing. I'm still participating. I'm still doing all of this. But now, that part of my brain has been forever unlocked. And it's all I can think about. So now I'm sitting in church. And the things that they're saying, even more, are starting to sound crazy to me. it's starting to sound a lot more diabolical, right? And I'll never forget, I had to go to a meeting for some reason at the church. I can't remember why. And at this point, I had moved out. I'm living in my own place. I had, left the married. Well, he wasn't married at that point. He was divorced at that point. But I left his ass. But I had to go to the church for something. We had some type of meeting or something. And before the meeting that I was supposed to be there for, my grandmother was having a separate meeting with like her deacons and deaconess or trustees or whoever. And I remember her saying something about, we got this bill. I love you too. We got this bill due. We got to pay this. We got to pay that. We got to pay this. We got to pay that. And again, I'm not really paying too much attention to it. I'm hearing it, but I'm not hearing it, right? I'm there, but I'm not there. I'm on my phone. That's their shit. Whatever they talking about is whatever they talking about. What did it for me was when Sunday came around, and all of a sudden I hear my grandmother say, the Lord just gave me a message. Which was not out of the ordinary, because she said that shit all the time. He said there are 10 people in here that got $100. And if you come forward right now, watch what he do for you this week. Now usually I hear some shit like that and I just, be like, well, shit, I'm not giving y'all $100. Now, I wasn't nobody that was going to give the church my money, and it was my family. I don't give a damn. I'm not giving you. I put $1 in that motherfucker. Maybe some change. Maybe a 5. You know what I'm saying? I'm not giving y'all my money. That's crazy. I got bills to pay. I got shit to do. All right? And the Lord can't spend this. He not about to come down and spend the money. He don't need DoorDash and Uber Eats. I do. I was like, what the fuck? I'm not doing that. But when she said it, the first thing I thought about was that damn meeting. And how she was just talking about the bills that was due. And I said, hold the fuck up. I don't know why it took me that long to put that shit together. I said, now this is bogus. Now this right here, this shit right here, nigga, it's bogus as hell. Number one, there's people in this church that were taking a bus to get there and back. There are elders in this church who only get a check a month from Social Security or disability. You know what I'm saying? There are people in here who need help and don't have that to spare and just to give you. You know what I'm saying? Versus saying, hey, now, of course, we appreciate all of you guys being members of this church. You know what I'm saying? Choosing us to fellowship with. Of course, we have to keep this building running. So if you can contribute anything to assist us with maintaining the utilities and whatever else in this building, here's the offering pan to help with that. Now, I can respect that. You being forthcoming, you telling the truth, you know what I'm saying? You letting people decide for themselves. Instead of making it like they're paying for assistance from the Lord. That's diabolical. And we've seen that not only on a level of a smaller church like my grandmother's church, where maybe she got total 200-300 members. We see it on the mega levels. Yes, when Marvin said, close them doors. Right? We see it on the mega church level where these people are driving luxury vehicles and got private jets and live in multiple room homes. It's a culture, right? It's a part of the culture of the church now. I don't care if it's a black church or white church. It don't even matter the culture behind it. It within itself is a culture. And they run that motherfucker like a business. I don't like that. That was strike 2. That was strike goddamn 2. Now I'm a 3 strikes you out type of honey, depending on what the fuck it is. Baby, that was strike 2. I said, okay, noted. Number 1, I'm not giving y'all another piece of money. Not because I don't want to help, but because y'all are not being genuine that you even need to help. And I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. That don't do it for me. Let alone y'all not even paying taxes. Hello, y'all get tax cuts. Y'all don't even have to pay taxes. Now, when you get into the legal side of it, that really raised my motherfucking ears and my eyebrows. Because why the fuck ain't they paying taxes? You could go right now to the bank and tell them, hey, I'm trying to get a loan to start a small business to help save the children in America. And they're going to look you in your face and be like, sorry, your credit, we just don't have it. Whatever, they're going to come up with whatever they need to come up with to tell your ass no. But you go in there and you tell them, hey, I'm starting a church. They got money. All of a sudden, money is available. All of a sudden, they can invest. That shit didn't sit right with me. I said, okay, strike 2. That's not working for me. The final thing that made me go ahead and leave, to actually leave and be like, you know what? I'm not coming here no more. It is what it is. I'm not doing it. Again, back to YouTube. YouTube University. Shout out to YouTube. I came across this pastor. And his name is, let me get his name. I'm actually subscribed to him. His name is Dr. Ray Hagins. If y'all ever heard of Ray Hagins, shout out to him. If you haven't, go check him out. He is a former pastor who now preaches, but he preaches from the side of truth. He's debunking all religion. He's debunking all the bullshit. All of it. Okay? He was a whole pastor. Had a whole church and everything. Black man. Because that matters. And now he speaks to truth. Okay? Thank you for the heart me. Now he speaks the truth. Right? Came across one of his videos and he was talking about breaking away from the church and the truth behind religion and Christianity. And I never seen somebody who has that much information about the Bible tell the truth about it and speak about it in that way. Thank you for the heart me. Never. That was my first time. And for him to be black, a lot of times, you know, when you're looking at moving away from religion or people who are offering, you know, a spiritual perspective, for a minute, it was just a lot of Caucasian. Thank you for the gift, my love. It was a lot of Caucasian people that you would run across. So when I seen a melanated black American man getting up there who was a former pastor at that, using the scriptures, debunking everything, telling the truth, I tuned in. No, I haven't answered it yet, babe. I tuned all the way in. And when I watched that video, I never felt so seen. I never felt so heard. I never felt so understood or understood. It's like everything clicked. His name is Ray Hagins. R-A-Y. Ray. Last name Hagins. H-A-G-I-N-S. He goes live every Sunday, just like a pastor would. So on Sundays, sometimes I just watch him. You know what I'm saying? Because you get used to doing something on Sundays, religious or spiritual, whatever. So I just turn him on. Yes. I'm gonna pin it. That's his name, y'all. He's on YouTube. He got a whole YouTube channel. Bald head, fluffy. I like to say fluffy, not fat. Fluffy, black man. Start watching his videos. Especially if you came from religion. Specifically Christianity. Okay? But he goes live every Sunday. He has a lot of videos already on there. Check out his content. And I watched those videos and I said, it's a wrap. Around that same time, my family was beefing again. And my mother ended up leaving the church and starting her own church. Okay, my grandmother was beefing with her about that for like a year. So that it was just messy. Just mess and more fucking mess. Okay. So when my mother said she was leaving the church, I was like, bet. Everything is aligning. I'm leaving too. And she thought I was leaving to come join her church. I said, no, baby, I'm leaving to be gone. So for a while, I would just go to her church just to sing because she needed a praise team. She had just started her church. So I would go sing, and that was it. And then after a while, when I always say when I came out, because that's how I felt. It felt like I was coming out the damn closet. Good Lord. When I finally started freely posting, you know, Facebook is where all the family is and all of that. So when I started freely posting about my beliefs and the different things that I was doing, baby, my mother called me, and her first words that she said to me was, you over there conjuring demons. I said, girl, what? What the fuck is you talking about? You over there conjuring demons, and you over there playing with this and playing with that, and you don't know what you tapping into, and blah, 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 blah. She just going in. And I said, first of all, hello. Good evening to you. I hope that you're all right. What the fuck? No, that's number one. I mean, what happened to chivalry? Shit. Number two, why the hell would I be doing something like that? And she said that because I had posted a book that I was reading that was talking about spell work, right? And if you are a spiritual being who has studied spirituality and studied what spells actually are, then you know that there's 97,000 things that we do a day that could be considered a damn spell. All right? We not out here a bibbity bobbity booing nobody. Speaking over yourself is a spell. You know what I'm saying? Lighting a candle and saying a couple words is a spell. Okay? So, me and her got into it, because then I started coming. I said, okay, baby, first of all, obviously, you don't understand what a spell is. Thank you for the follow. I was getting to that. Is it Aisha? I was getting to that. I said, y'all be in there drinking metaphorical blood and eating a metaphorical body. Don't talk to me about spell work. Y'all have a whole altar. When you want people to come up and you want to pray over them, you call it an altar call. Girl, what the fuck? What? Come to the altar. Lay all your burdens on the altar. Why would you need a damn altar? Then on top of that, I started, again, like I told you, I started reading the Bible for myself. That was another part of me really being cool on all that. Because I started actually reading for myself and getting an understanding for myself. And not just this what we preaching about today. And allowing my grandmother to just tell me what it means. No, I'm about to go read it and get they always talk about the context. Let me go read the damn context. And then I found out that Jesus was spiritual. I said, hold the hell up now. Wait a minute. I don't think I'm ready. Put that thing down, flip it, and reverse it. You mean to tell me we got a whole religion for somebody who is spiritual? Do he know that y'all doing all this shit? Is he aware of y'all behaviors? Not the man who said to access the kingdom of heaven, you go within. It can't be that Jesus that y'all talking about. Not the one who said you don't have to go to the priests and all of these temples and all this other stuff. I came so that you can have life and have it more abundantly. You go directly to the source. It can't be that one. Not the one that said we was made in the image. I said somebody's lying. Somebody got some explaining to do. Somebody got some explaining to do. Because y'all done lied to me. Thank you, my love, for the gift. Y'all done lied to me. And again, you bring those things up. You want to see a Christian crash out? Bring some of them points up. My mama crashed out. I mean, she crashed out. She crashed out on that phone to the point I just hung up. I said, girl, I'm not doing this with you. I live in my own house and pay my own bills and been doing it for the last, at that point, 5 years. Okay? Girl, get off of this phone that I pay for. I'm not about to sit here and listen to you yell in my goddamn ear over something that got to do with my soul. I could have sworn it was mine. The same lady who light a candle before she pray. The same lady who went to Florida and got one of the Jewish scarves. And when she do her prayers at whatever time of the day, she go light a candle and put the damn scarf over her head and drape it over herself. You can't be talking to me about spells and rituals. I know you lying. They don't like common sense. Don't like that shit. So I started pointing out the similarities. I said, hold up. Now, we got the Bible. But before the Bible, we had the Emerald Tablets. The Emerald Tablets were here before the Bible. If you've ever read some of the Emerald Tablets, if you know, you know. If you don't know, go read it. They got it's a lot of different books with different breakdowns of what was found in those tablets. And let's just say there's a lot of similarities. So this came before this. This came before this. Oh, this came before this too. So all these things came before this religion. And you mean to tell me we believe in this religion? And then I always been pro-black. You know what I'm saying? Niggas first. Everybody else last. That's always been me. That will always be me. I'ma ride for my niggas. I die for my niggas. You know what I'm saying? That's always just been me. So then I started learning. I started going deeper into the slave trade and the history that they told us or taught us, the indoctrination, right? And this is what I tell y'all all the time. If you've been following me for a while, I always say everything is connected. So study everything. Look into everything. Thank you for the beans. Look into everything. Everything is connected. the school system, the medical field, the politics, the money is all connected. It all go together. And you just have to find the links. So not only am I educating myself on the religious aspect of it all and the spiritual commonalities, but now I'm going over here and I'm looking at the slave trade. And my question was, it's impossible to unalive millions of Native Americans. It's impossible. I don't care if they came over here with the Black Plague. I don't care if the plague was purple. It's impossible. Because all them people was not in the same spot. It's not like they came over here and we was all just huddled up in one area. Y'all know how big America is? America encapsulates Mexico and Canada. We're talking about the continent. You know how big this continent is? You know how big some of our states alone are? Sidebar, I was just looking at Florida probably a month ago. And somebody was talking, they lived in one part of Florida. And I'm like, well, how long do it take for you to get to this part? Baby, it was like a 10 to 14 hour drive. And they was still in the state of damn Florida. I said, what the hell? What the hell? You mean I can drive almost a day and I'm still in the same state? You know how diabolically big that is? That's huge. And that's just Florida. Florida's not even the biggest damn state we got. And that's just the United States of America. That's not Canada. That ain't Mexico. I said, what the? So you can't convince me that it was millions of us in one little ass spot and they came over here with a cough and it just took us out? Number one, the indigenous Americans were herbalists. I'm sorry. Mic check 1 2 1 2. I wish I had a goddamn microphone. They were herbalists. They studied this shit for a living. They did this. They lived that life. They was about that. So you mean to tell me they couldn't come up with something that was going to heal them? Somebody lying. Second point. You know how fucking far Africa is? Across the water? Now, I personally have been to Africa. I went to Morocco at this point a month ago. It was beautiful. It was amazing. All of that. But the plane ride, and I had a direct flight. The plane ride, which is faster than a boat, was 7 hours. And that wasn't even to go all the way into the continent. Morocco sits on the edge of Africa. So you're not even going all the way up in it. You just reaching the coast. 7 hours. Direct flight. Plane going however many hundreds of miles an hour. So you mean to tell me that you chained? Now mind you, this is why it don't make sense. These people came to America. It wasn't a whole lot of them, but they were so dirty and nasty that they infected everybody, and most of them people was unalive. This is the story. But y'all put us all on the boat with some of them same nasty ass people that you claim unalive millions on land where it was fresh air, and you can go where the fuck you want to go. This is on land. You put some of the motherfuckers on a boat in a confined space with hundreds of niggas chained together, no bathrooms, barely any food, and they not only survived for months on a boat, because it took them months to travel to get here. Not only did they survive for months on this boat, but they also arrived in good enough health to get to work. Get the fuck out of my face. I want you to get so far the fuck out of my face. Thank you for the heart me. I want you to get so far away from my face. What? That don't even make sense. Y'all think that we needed the help of these people to travel? We have been here already thousands of years. And we know that to be true because when they dug up the tombs, because you know they can't mind their business, when they dug up the damn tombs and everything, they were able to establish that these people were thousands of years old. You think we didn't have the sense enough to travel around this big ass motherfucker? Where do you think the millions of fucking... there was already people here. They can't all be unalived. And they all spread out in different regions and parts of this country. Continent. Don't make no sense. On top of that, we had to have religion forced on us. That was another thing that made me be like, we didn't come with no religion. We didn't come with no religion. Hence why people was getting beat and slaughtered and everything the fuck else, because they wasn't trying to go with the shit. Tasha Truth, I understand that you in my comments doing whatever you're doing, but let me warn you about me. This not the place. So if it don't apply, let it fly or get blocked. It's as simple as that. Some of y'all need attention so bad. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be needing attention so bad. Let me go ahead and just free you. So, I don't want to practice anything that was forced on my ancestors. I feel like that's a betrayal. I want to figure out what they was doing before they was forced. You know what I'm saying? What type of life were they living before they was forced to live a different life? Thank you for the heart me. So I started looking. I started searching. I started diving in. And then I started connecting the dots. I ran across hoodoo. I never heard the terminology hoodoo until I started doing research. I knew about voodoo, but I never heard the terminology hoodoo. And when I started studying hoodoo, I said, hold up. This is all the shit that we do. Already. Naturally. As niggas. Specifically as Black American people. Thank you, my love, for the gift. These are things that we do already. The use of herbs. The use of salt. The use of oils. You know what I'm saying? The use of certain Bible scriptures. What some of us were taught to call superstitions. All of those things fell directly in line with what we already did and what my family would be doing anyway and going to church. I'm like, hold up. Let's make this make sense. What the hell is the point of me studying or following the replica? Thank you for the heart, me. Following the replica of this when I can just go to the source of it. Why should I spend my life dedicated to the replica when I can just dedicate it to the original? And one thing about spirituality, thank you, my love, for the roses. One thing about spirituality amongst melanated people, it is the same core values everywhere. And I've studied Ifa, I've studied Santeria, I've studied Voodoo, I've studied Hoodoo, I studied Buddhism. Because if you don't know, the original Asians are black. The original everybody is black. And it's all the same principles. Ancestry, number one. All of them are built on ancestry. Number one. That's the first thing across all spiritual practices is ancestry. The second thing is the use of tools through nature. So herbs, spices, plants, animals, so on and so forth. The third thing is astrology. All spiritual practices have elements of astrology. They understand the planets. They understand the planetary movements. They understand the energy of these times and of these seasons. They understand how things change throughout different seasons. They understand how you know what I'm saying, different things move throughout the seasons. They get it. So I say, well, what the hell is the point in, you know, me continuing to practice this when it goes against everything that we naturally are? Because one thing about spirituality that I learned on my journey, and that a lot of people can attest to, is we are all on our individual journeys, but we all have common experiences. The messages, the downloads, similar. How am I all the way over here in Maryland and DC, and some of y'all all the way on the other side in California, Arizona, and wherever the fuck else? We don't talk offline. Our families ain't connected. We not in no group chats together. But we all got the same information. We all getting the same downloads. We all having similar experiences. Around a certain time, whether it's astrological or around a certain time where something is just happening in the spiritual realm, we all are being affected. We all got similar symptoms. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, King. How? But you got Christians. You got one church right here that's Pentecostal, and literally just a couple blocks over here, you got a Seventh-day Adventist church, and these niggas not even on the same page. That used to blow my mind. Y'all really beefing? Y'all gang banging for Jesus? You don't know what you talking about. You didn't read the Bible right. Y'all got the same book. We don't got no damn book. As spiritual people, we wish we had a book. We have people who have wrote books based on what they've learned and discovered and so on and so forth. But we don't have a standardized book that you could just say, hey, this is everything that you need to know. We don't have that. We don't have that. But we all got the same information. We all got the same downloads. We all coming to the same conclusions. And all y'all got a damn book. And you Pentecostal, you Seventh-day Adventist, you Kojic, you Church of God, that's called Church of God of Christ. You this, you that, you, what's the people that come knock on your door and get on your nerves on Saturday mornings? Jehovah's Witness. You over here, y'all got the same book with the same words. Which shows you that spirituality is something that we're born with. We're born into spirituality because we are spiritual beings. And when you start to study genetics, when you start to study quantum physics, when you start to study I can't think of the other one. You start to study all these different things, you understand that the Akashic records is DNA. It's shared through the DNA. It's passed down from person to person to person. It is shared knowledge. It is shared information. And every melanated person, every person with a soul can access this information. Which is why when we do tap in spiritually, when we do start to, decode messages, dreams, listen to our intuition, whatever we're doing, when we do start to tap into those things, we arrive at the same information, the same knowledge, the same wisdom. It is melanated people who even created mathematics. It is melanated people who even created astrology. It is melanated people who created psychology and the medical field and the breakdown of everything that there is that humans have come to know and understand. Technology. Then you get to learning about how some of the first pyramids created are here in North America. Well, how was that so? They told us everybody came from Africa. How everybody come from Africa when some of the first pyramids are here? Why you think in certain places you can't go? Why you think the Grand Canyon is closed off? Why you think they call them mounds? They don't want to call them pyramids. They want to call them mounds. All of it is orchestrated, especially if you are a melanated American. Okay? Not first generation here from another country. No. Melanated American. You got 4 melanated American grandparents. Your people been here. Okay? Generations then been here. They don't want us to know that this is our land and it's been our land. So in order to keep you from waking up and taking your shit back or revolting against the system, we have to convince you that you're from somewhere else. That's why they came up with the whole slavery thing. Now, that's not to say some people weren't brought here on boats, because that's absolutely true. Some people did come here on boats. But not melanated Americans. Our people been here. Why you think all our grandmamas say, we Indian? Y'all do know Native Americans were reclassified as Indians, and then they were reclassified as Negroes, and they were reclassified as African American or black. Then it was reclassified as African American. To be reclassified don't mean that you a different people. That means that it just changed your name in the system. Thank you, my love, for the heart. That means they're just changing your name in the system. That don't mean that the people have changed. That don't mean that the genetics have changed. That means on paperwork, they changed your name. Thank you for the rose, my love. Thank you for the beans, king. You know what I'm saying? And this is fact. You can go right now and look up the reclassification of black Americans. They just came up with African American in the 60s. That shit not even old. Y'all grandparents is older than the term African American. Some of y'all parents is older than the term African American. Some of y'all is older than the term African American. And if you are older than the term African American and you watching me, I'm honored. But that just goes to show that shit went a long time ago. Why you think they put all that shit in black and white? They had colored pictures in the early 1900s, in the late 1800s. Why the fuck is Martin Luther King in black and white? Why the fuck is Rosa Parks in black and white? That doesn't make sense. These are kind of questions that come about when you start using your brain. If I can see these pictures in color, and this shit was in the 1920s and 1930s, why the fuck is the 1960s and 70s and 50s in black and white? Because they're trying to convince you that this shit is old as hell. This happened a long time ago. No, it didn't. Both of my grandmothers were born in the 40s. They have color pictures. Martin Luther King ain't do what he did until what? The 50s? 60s? Why is Martin in black and white and my grandmama got color pictures? Why are they showing us this man walking up to the monument? And I'm from DC, so that shit. Why they showing us these videos and they in black and white? And they had picture available. Colored picture. It's all a mind game. And y'all probably like, Poca, how the hell did this tie into religion? Well, because religion is the first cage that we put in. That's the cage that a lot of us are born into. And that's where a lot of us learned to blend in with the background, listen to what you were told, believe what you were told to believe. Don't ask no questions. Don't shake the table. Be seen and not heard. But the thing about it is, not only, going back to astrology, are we in the age of Aquarius, right? Age of knowledge and technology. Look around. Knowledge and technology, okay? Not only are we in the age of Aquarius where the facts have to come out, which is, again, an astrological point of view, but the curse that was put on us, especially Black Americans, no tea, no shade to nobody else, but especially us, has been lifted. It is no longer in effect. Thank you, my love, for the gift. So there's a reason why we are collectively shifting. It's not just one or two people like how it was in the 60s and 70s. You had a couple people that woke up and tried to tell people what's going on, and they called them crazy as hell and wrote them off as hippies and everything else. Because the hippie movement, if you do your research, wasn't started by people, Caucasians, just trying to be outside and smoke herb and stuff. It was actually elevated, spiritually minded, melanated Americans who were waking up, okay, coming into knowledge and attempting to share. And then the government overshadowed that with the whole hippie thing. Oh, it's about peace and love and blah, 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 blah. And being out in the middle of the forest with your spliff and doing psychedelics and playing bluegrass. No. So we're collectively going through a shift. There are whole bloodlines that are coming into awakening. there are large groups of people coming into awakening at the same time. The biggest that we've seen so far was 2020. And I talk about all the time how that shit worked against them people. They thought that they was going to do something. They thought that they was doing something, locking us up in the house and saying you're not going to go to work. They thought we was going to just get depressed and fall over and just drown in sorrow and misery and just spend a whole bunch of money. And people had enough time away from the distractions that they created. Going to a 9 to 5 every day is a distraction they created. All of the schooling was a distraction that they created. Understand that the education system, that's why when a lot of people was asking me when Trump was talking about removing the board of education, right? A lot of people was in my comments, he don't want us to be educated, blah, 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 blah. You're not even understanding or understanding how this is working to our benefit. The fucking education system was created in the early 1900s to indoctrinate. That was its purpose. To teach our children how to be good slaves. How to blend in. How to go along with what they said was good. That's why you get a master's degree. That's why they created the medical field to be what it is now. Big Pharma. And coach these people. If you want to be licensed, which means if you want to have permission to help people in the United States of America corporation, because it's a business, it's a corporation, it's a business. Okay? It's a business. If you want to be able to sell your products and do what you do within our business, within our corporation, you got to go through our licensing system, aka you have to be indoctrinated. You have to take on our ways. So this is why you can have a doctor that look just like you that still feeds you the bullshit that they feeding everybody else. When C-19 came out in 2020, they had us people who was sitting on the sidelines doing research and using common sense. They was trying to shut us down. You didn't go to school for this. I had a PhD. I had this. I had that. You need to get the jab. Fuck, I need to get that for. And it's unfortunate that now we're seeing the repercussions of that jab. There are people who got C-19 and was sick as a dog, didn't get no jab, survived it, and kept moving with their damn life. You got people who didn't even get sick at all, went and got the jab, and then they got health problems that they can't explain, that doctors can't explain. They finding long fibrous tissue in their arteries that's causing clogged arteries, and people are passing out from heart attacks and all types of stuff. And we talking about young people. Not the elders that they try to scare us into saving. If you love your grandma, you gonna go get it. Thank you for the gift, my love. You know what I'm saying? If you love your grandma, if you love Pop, you gonna go. Thank you for the heart, me. If you love your kids, children and the old people, They the most susceptible to it. And you know everybody care about children and old people. If you don't get it, you gonna lose your job. We gonna fire you. And then the gag is, all the people who lost their jobs, well, all the people who was scared of losing their jobs and went and followed through with that shit anyway, they came back a couple months later and said, anybody who lost their job, we giving you your job back. So you mean to tell me them people went out there and got that thing for nothing when they could have just held out, trusted their instinct, followed their intuition in their gut, and just held in there a little bit and went back to work? Then the shit won't make sense. I gotta get the jab and I gotta stand 6 feet away and I gotta wear a mask. Well, what the fuck? Did the shit work? Going back in time, who was they testing out these different things on back in the day? Melanated people. Who was the guinea pig for all of these different medications and shots that they wanted to give out and all this different stuff that they wanted to put out into the communities? Melanated people. They still using, what's the black lady name? I always forget her name. The black lady who they took her stem cells, that they still using to this day, and they pay her family shit for it, and they making billions and trillions of dollars a year. Henrietta, thank you. Henrietta Lack, is that her name? I feel like that's her last name. I could be wrong. Still using her stem cells. Guinea pigs. Using us as guinea pigs. Come on now. All of this shit is connected. All of it is connected. If you go look at what the medical symbol is, the symbol for medicine, and you trace the history of that symbol for medicine, that's gonna be some of y'all homework. I'm not gonna give y'all everything because y'all know I'm all about researching. Research everything that I said. Don't take nothing I said for face value. Go read, research, get into it. Y'all know I'm not the type of person that's like, just believe me, just believe me. No. Fact check me. Go look up where the medical symbol, where it came from, what it came from. They came up with that goddamn thing so quick. Come on now. And then C19 was patented. If you know anything about patents, you patent things that were man-made. Nothing that is from nature gets a patent. You can't patent water. You can't patent air. You can't patent the grass unless it's something that's man-made, unless it's GMO grass. You can't patent nature. So if it has a patent, that means somebody sat there and created it. Somebody made that. The same way they pushed that famous blood disease, I'm gonna say it like that. That famous blood disease, the same way they pushed that shit out in the 70s and 80s. If you know, you know. The blood disease everybody's scared to get. Then right after C19 happened, a year or two later, they talking about some monkeys were randomly escaped the truck. First of all, why the fuck are we transporting monkeys? That's number one. What the fuck we need them for? Why y'all transporting monkeys around this hole? How the fuck they get out? The monkeys are out. And now there's some monkeypox outside. How long did that last? You know why it didn't last? Because people started waking the fuck up from the C-19 bullshit. And once they saw that people wasn't biting, it disappeared. We ain't heard shit else about them goddamn monkeys. We don't know if they found them. We don't know if they collected them. We don't know where they came from. We don't know where they was going. We don't know shit. Now make that make sense. How some shit just disappear? Where the fuck it go? Who took it? I love you back. Who took it? Who got the damn monkeys? Where are the monkeys? Questions that need answers. This is the type of shit. This is the type of shit that y'all have to pay attention to. When we talk about religion, we're talking about indoctrination in all facets. It's all connected. Because you had pastors and preachers getting up in their motherfucking congregations and telling people what the damn to do. You couldn't be around 15 of your family members, but you could go to church. You can't go visit Nana in the hospital or the nursing home, but you can go to church. We gonna open up the doors of the religious places. But you can't go visit Papa now. No, we not doing all that. You had people who was passing away in hospitals and their family had to FaceTime them. Do you understand how diabolical that is? How traumatizing that is? How evil that is? Again, we got people who look just like us, come from the same families, backgrounds, neighborhoods, and all. And they go get indoctrinated by these systems. And they go and they start telling us the wrong thing. Medicine is supposed to heal you. You're not supposed to spend a lifetime on medication. What the fuck is the purpose? What the hell is the purpose? You telling me y'all the same people that fake took us to the moon, but you can't figure out how to cure diabetes? Hypertension, blood pressure, high cholesterol. These are basic things that are very, very alive and well in the black community. You tell me you ain't got no cure for that? And the people who did start coming out with ways to cure it through what? Herbalism, natural medicine. Where they at now? Dr. Sebi, rest in peace. Where they go? They ban herbalism from hospitals. You can't prescribe herbs. That's not strange to y'all? You rather give me something man-made? Inbox me, Nelly, in regards to live recruitment. Shoot me a message. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna give me nothing from the earth. You rather create something in the lab. They got 59 different side effects. Take this for your diabetes. But if you fart, a little bit of shit might come out. You might throw up all over yourself. If you stand up, you might get dizzy and fall back down. Don't drive a car. Don't get behind the wheel. Your heart might stop. If you sneeze too hard, your lungs is gonna fucking deflate. What the hell? 15 different other things that I got to worry about now. I'm taking this medicine to help me with this. And now I'm creating these other issues that's going to do what? Make me go have to take more medicine. Which is put more money in whose pocket? Who's benefiting from this? Because I'm fucking not. Thank you for the heart me. Thank you for the gift. I ain't getting shit from this. What the fuck am I getting? A death sentence? Yeah, the commercials tell you what come with the medicine, but it's in real tiny text, or they say that shit real fast. If you take this, you may sound like they at an auction. You may pass out. You may go to your heart might stop, and you might fall over, and you might pass out. Get yours today. Like, what the fuck? What the? What did it say? Don't just go past that like you ain't just said what you said. Slow down. You gotta slow the shit down. You gotta put your TV in slow-mo for you to hear what the fuck they said. They just said that just so goddamn fast. And people don't read the side effects when they get the medicine. A lot of times people they either don't read it or they're weighing out their options. I feel like I'm going to pass away. This is my only option. When you create a medical environment where you're giving people this or death, what you think people want to choose? Then you start learning about the technology that they're using that is creating cancer cells. Go look into mammograms and how many people that got continuous mammograms and checkups, how many of them now have breast cancer? Is anybody worried about their health? You know what I'm saying? What the hell is going on? What's happening? There's a lot that is being rediscovered and exposed. And this is why, as spiritual people, it is very important. And this is why I, myself, make sure that I create this space, hello, for people who are like-minded and on the same page to come together and to share their thoughts, to share their downloads, to share their research, to share the different things that they're learning and discovering and so on and so forth with each other so we can expand our personal knowledge, therefore expanding the collective wisdom. It's important. People so scared to have these conversations. During the time of 2020, I was doing content, right? I was on Facebook Live and I was posting certain stuff to YouTube. Do you not know that you could not talk about any type of anything going on with that without them flagging your shit, taking your stuff down, giving you derogatory marks on your account, threatening, banning you? You can't even talk about it. We had to use code words. If you was following me in 2020 back in my Facebook days, y'all know we had to use goddamn code words. We couldn't say certain shit, and even now I gotta mind my words because they'll strike this shit. Quick. Thank you for the follow, boo. They'll strike this shit quick. Censorship. Everything is connected. When Biden was in office, when Obama was in office, censorship was insane. You couldn't talk about certain stuff. You couldn't do certain things. You just couldn't. This is why I take Trump with a grain of salt. Because one thing that man is against is censorship. I don't support everything that man do. But there's a lot that has been exposed about the world. There's a lot that's been exposed about some of these politicians and a lot of shit that's going on behind the scenes that we would have never known if we would have kept having certain people in office. And I don't personally subscribe to politics, but I believe that you need to know what the hell is going on with certain stuff. Anybody that's coming against taxes, just saying. Anybody that's saying, hey, this is your money. We found y'all money over here. Y'all money was over here going to all these places and shit. They taking y'all money. Then we gonna freeze this shit and get it back. I don't agree with everything, but certain things I'm thankful for. Sometimes spirit will put your enemy in a position to help you. Is all I'm saying. Business, people having businesses, the culture of entrepreneurship is coming back. Because a lot of y'all are doing y'all work and you're realizing I'm gifted in this area and I can survive off of using this gift. What the fuck? I don't have to go sit back. No tea, no shade to anybody that's working 9 to 5. But I don't have to do that. That's an option. Whereas before, it seemed mandatory. Thank you for the gift. I don't have to go to college and get indoctrinated into nothing the fuck else. I can go make money off of something that I was born with. Born knowing how to do. "2020 woke a lot of y'all up." Hold up, I do got a little gift. Hold on. I've been sleeping on myself. You get so distracted with the mundane things. Go to work, get off, eat, sleep, take care of the kids, wake up, do it all over again, do this, do that, go to church on Sunday, blah, blah, blah. You get into this routine. And we was all in this routine. Whether you ended your week with going to church or not. Don't matter. We all was in the same repetitive ass routine. Doing this, doing this, doing that. Doing this, doing this, doing that. Doing this, doing this. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Same shit, same shit, same shit. And when all of that stopped, when you no longer had the pressure of getting up early and going to somebody else's job, working for them, making them money. When you no longer had the pressure of getting them kids to school on time, sending them to be indoctrinated. When you no longer had the pressure of making sure these bills is paid and making sure you got this covered and make sure you got this money for next month. When all of the pressures that they created to pressure you were taken off the table, what was you able to do? You was able to find you. You was able to lock in with yourself. Lock in with your spirit team. Get your beliefs in order. Start asking the right questions. You found you. And it ain't never been the same since then. Even if you didn't start your business in 2020, even if you didn't fully leave religion behind in 2020, something was sparked in your energy that year that you couldn't shake until you gave in and started to do a little bit more research and started to look a little bit deeper. You couldn't shake that shit. To this day, you can't shake it. Intuition riding your ass like a bull. You can't do nothing about it. As hard as you try, you can't escape it. for no reason. That ain't no coincidence. That ain't no happenstance. We don't believe in coincidences. Everything is divinely orchestrated. Everything is divinely orchestrated. Everything is working for your highest good. Which is why we did the reading on yesterday. If you want to go check it out, it's on YouTube. Feel free to click the link in my bio and go to the YouTube and subscribe. But the reading that we did yesterday talked about what? Tap into what is for you. Stop bullshitting on yourself. Stop sleeping on yourself. Stop making excuses for not going out and doing what you need to do and winning. Because as long as you are putting effort into the wrong spaces, it will never matter. You can work your ass off, but if you're doing it in a wrong environment, in a wrong space, in a place that's not beneficial for you, it don't matter. You can spend half the effort that you're putting in over there. Just put half of that towards what you're supposed to be doing. Just put half of that. Y'all go to work and work your ass off for scraps. I don't care how much of a good life you living. You're not getting paid what you worth. And you giving them people hours of your time. All of your mental capacity. They stressing you the fuck out. Time away from some of y'all kids and families. And you just put half of that, a sprinkle of that, into what is for you? Come the fuck on. Don't play with it. What Lola Brooke say? Don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it. Come on, baby, don't play with it. Don't play with it. That's a message for somebody. Stop sleeping on yourself. We are divine beings. That's why we were pulled out of religious spaces. Because we could not thrive there. We were being held captive mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. We was captive. Caged. Our true self could not thrive there. Our energy was too big for those small mentality type of situations and environments. It was too big. We were too big for those environments. That's why it never worked out. That's why there was always questions. That's why there was always dis-ease. You didn't get awakened for nothing. And you knew that this would happen. You set the breadcrumbs for yourself to find your way back to you. A lot of y'all came back here on purpose. You're not one of these newer souls. They first time here and they just, just looking around in La La Land and shit. You're not no new ass soul. Most of y'all are OGs, triple OGs when it comes to this spiritual shit. On a soul level. And it may not feel like it because you haven't given yourself permission to see yourself in that light. What we talked about yesterday on the reading. Most people around you can see you for who you truly are, and you're usually the one that's late to the party. I know I'm damn talking shit. I know I just said some shit right there. You gotta confirm it to me. I know I just said right. Sit there and act like you act like you ain't hear me if you want to. You know what I'm saying? You act like I'm just talking to my goddamn self. That's what they gonna try to do. They gonna try to act like I ain't talking to them, but they know I'm talking to them. That's why I get a goddamn message. No more doubting yourself. No more doubting your gifts. No more doubting your abilities. You are different. Get over it. You are unique. Let's move on to something else. Recognize it. Understand it. Understand it. Overstand it. Just stand in it. Shit. Get up. Let's move on. When you got a calling, when you got shit you supposed to do, you're not going to have a life like them. Let it go. And if anything, your shit gonna be more exciting. Because, baby, let me tell you something about this goddamn journey. Shh. Do we get a break? Is there a break room somewhere we could just put our feet up for a second? Lord. Thank you for the gift. I mean, I just want to sit. There's enough excitement on this motherfucking journey. Let me tell you. There's enough to see, enough to learn, enough to experience. Trust me, if you're doing it right. All these fake ass, light and love ass motherfuckers, stop listening to them. They gonna set you up. All this shit ain't light and love. We were created in darkness. Don't y'all forget that shit. We are pure energy. Energy is chaotic. It don't just sit in a corner and exist. Step into your chaos. It's okay to have a little chaos. Things grow in chaotic environments. Don't nothing grow in a calm, relaxed, non-moving, stagnant ass environment. Things grow in chaos. It reminds me of the movie Lucy. If y'all ever seen that movie Lucy, if you haven't, go check it out. That movie has a lot of hidden messages in it. Okay, y'all know they hide shit in movies. Now that one, so there's a lot of messages in that goddamn movie. But it's one part when she says, when she goes to the doctor to get the bags of the drugs, thank you, Bruce, out of her stomach, and he says, this is the chemical that a baby uses to grow their bones. And he says it has the force of an atomic bomb. So just the mere energy that it takes for you as a fetus to grow and copy and paste your DNA over and over again to create bones and fingers and toes and a head and all of that can pack the punch of an atomic bomb. I really want y'all to think about this shit. We're talking about pure energy. Energy in motion. Energy in the midst of creation. That shit is chaotic. That's chaos. That's why the first zodiac sign is Aries. Aries is what? Fire. That's chaotic energy. That's forceful energy. That's powerful energy. You ever seen a fire rip through some shit? You ever watch something burn under a microscope? That shit not pretty. It's not cute. It's not beautiful. I mean, it may be beautiful to some people. I like fire. Could be my Sagittarius rising, but you know, we're not here for that. You know what I'm saying? It's not always destructive just because it's powerful. And a lot of you guys haven't allowed yourselves to be your most powerful self because you feel like it's destructive. Because it destroys everything that you thought you knew. It interrupts all of the patterns that you've been living your life according to. It may destroy the relationships that you got with family, friends. You may have to move. You might got to relocate. You may not be able to work that job no more. And in your head, you looking at this, oh, this shit is destroying my life. My life is being flipped upside down. And in reality, something is being cultivated. Fire, if you've ever seen a forest, months to years after a fire, it is at its most pristine condition. Go look into the after effects of forest fires when everything starts growing back again. The most fertile soil that you can find sometimes is after a fire. So don't look at it as destruction. Don't look at it as things are falling apart. Things are falling together. They're coming together. It's working for your good. And because you have already had this awakening, you've already came into awareness, you can never go back to not knowing, and you can never go back to not seeing. Your mind is forever changed. You will never be like who you was before. Hello, my love. You'll never be that person again. So this is why when you pretend, you try to pretend like you ain't see what you saw, like you don't know what you know. You try to go back around them same old people, go back to them same old environments, them same old relationships. You feel so goddamn uncomfortable. It feels so weird. You feel so out of whack. Because you're not supposed to be there in the first place. And then you have this awareness. You can't go back and act like you ain't see what you saw. Go watch the movie They Live. I done recommended that movie I don't know how many times over here. Too many to count. I've been recommending that movie for years. They Live is the name of the movie. It came out in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. But it's about a man who gets some glasses. He finds these glasses. And coincidentally, where he finds the glasses in bulk is actually inside of a church. But I'll let you see the movie for the rest. But he puts these glasses on, and now he can see that certain people around him are not really people. He can see them in their true form. He tries to take the motherfuckers off and act like he didn't see what he saw. But now he looking at everybody weird. Now he don't trust nobody. Now he like, hold the fuck up. Something is strange. I can't even go back to living my life how I was before. Go look up that damn movie and watch that shit. Watch that shit tonight. Okay, you know when you get in bed and you get ready to rub your feet together and you looking for something to watch? Put that on. It's called They Live. Let me see where it's streaming. Let me see. If you know any of the free movie apps, you can definitely find it on there. It's on YouTube. It's on Amazon Prime. It's on Apple TV. It's on Fandango. It's on Google Play Movies. And then, of course, you can go on the free app and watch it. You might be able to just type it into YouTube and put They Live full movie. Somebody may got it on there with the bootleg. But watch that shit. That perfectly depicts how it feels when you come into awakening and you are no longer the same. You can't go back. And again, nothing is a coincidence. So it's very interesting how it's glasses, right, that they use to show in the movie, this is how he sees that people aren't who he thought that they was. Right? Going back to sight. But we know it's not physical sight. It's third eye sight. We know that as spiritual people, that it's all about the third eye. We understand that. All right. I'm done my rant for today. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Any topics y'all wanted me to tap on that I didn't? Feel free to utilize the comment section. If anybody wants to request to come up to talk about anything that we just talked about, feel free. Of course, we'll be doing more of these. I won't be live tomorrow. Because I'm going to the Kendrick concert. Period. But I'll be live Thursday and probably Friday as well. We'll see. Yes, this will be posted to YouTube tomorrow rising. It'll go live. Thank you, my love, for the gift. Yes, ma'am. Me in DC. Oh, I'm excited. I'm so excited. I didn't watch the whole concert. I don't know how many times on TikTok Live already. But I'm still excited. Embracing chaos is the beginning of true transformation. Absolutely. Hell yeah. Thanks for the heart, thanks for the gifts. It absolutely is. Hello, everybody just tuning in. You're welcome, Robin. I'm going to see Kendrick tomorrow night. So I won't be live. I might go live while I'm there. It depends. But I need to be able to record. So. Yes, I'm super excited. Everybody been talking about it. Like I said, I didn't watch it. I don't know how many times on TikTok Live. What am I looking for? That's the day. Like they, not like us. They play the record so much on the radio. I know. And I know I'm gonna act like I heard all them songs for the first time tomorrow. Like it's the first time. A shit show. I absolutely will, and thank you. Thank you so much. Shout out to everybody who tuned in. Shout out to everybody who liked, commented, shared, gifted. It is all appreciated. Shared, gifted. It is all appreciated. Hello. I'm at the studio. Okay. Okay. The hell? I'll miss you tomorrow, but I will see you Thursday. Yes, I'll be back on here on Thursday. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm gonna wear. I need to figure out tonight what I'm gonna wear when I get home. I'm hoping it don't rain. It's been raining here all week. Well, it's not raining today, so I'm taking it as a sign that maybe it's not gonna rain tomorrow. Because the weather said it was supposed to rain today, but it didn't. And it's at a stadium. Of course, we're on the stadium tour. So I think the stadium don't got the ceiling. I think the top is off of it. So I'm just hoping it rain because I don't want to get sick and I don't want to be wet in the day. Listen, I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm be pissed off. Thank you, my love. I need to be clear skies. It's supposed to be hot tomorrow too, I think. Let me check again. Yeah, it's like 87. Yeah, I need to get me. I'm gonna take me an umbrella just in case, and a jacket. It's okay. I'll probably go live doing scissor parts because I don't. Scissor is cool, but I'm not really the biggest scissor fan as far as her music. I don't be knowing all them songs, so I might go live doing that part. But when Kenny is on stage, I gotta get to my videos in. Okay, I need all the footage. Period. So we'll see. I'll play it by ear. And we go from there. Yeah, I'm not the biggest SZA fan. You said you wish you could understand what she be saying. They say she's singing cursive. I think that is so funny. Because she do a little bit. Them gonna probably be my bathroom breaks and concession stand breaks, I'm not gonna lie. Depending on how far I gotta walk. Yeah, well, she's a Scorpio, guys. So you gotta remember, no tea, no shade to my Scorpios, but they're a little dark sometimes. They're a little dark. So that music is too low for me. I can't get it. I can't get with it for real. That ain't my vibe. I'm real picky with the shit I listen to. Not only because I like real like music, but also going back to spells. Lyrics are important. I'm not about to be just singing and rapping anything. Hell no. Who you saying is weird? I have too many Scorpios in my life. Did you watch Castanet Streamer University? I saw some of the clips from it. I only tune in to Kai if it's somebody on it that I want to tune into. I like all of the streams that he do with Drewski and Kevin Hart. Those are probably my favorites. I didn't rewatch those a couple times. Even though, you know, the industry is the industry. And, you know, even with Kendrick Lamar, I love Kendrick Lamar a lot. Love his music. Have always loved his music. Been listening to him since Section 80. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta give to get. When it comes to the music industry, when it comes to Hollywood, you don't get nothing for free. So I take it all with a grain of salt. You know, I listen to what sounds the best, what's giving the best message. You know, which I know I'm a neo soul honey. Most of the shit that we listen to over here is neo soul, jazz, R&B. You know, if we do listen to rap, which is very rare, it's, you know, people who usually talking about something of substance. Of course, you know, you got your ratchet raps every now and again. That's cool for the moment. But if we talking about, you know, daily rap, daily, you know, something I'm gonna listen to daily, can't do it. Won't do it. Not gonna do it. Not gonna try to do it. There's certain R&B songs I don't play because it's talking too crazy for me. You know, being careful. Everything is energy. So when you know that, you move a lot differently. You move a lot different. You become a lot more picky about what you let into your energy. You know? So, any other questions, comments, or concerns? People just be inboxing me anything. How you feel about the deportations? As somebody who used to work in the immigration office, I worked in the immigration office for the government for a while near the Pentagon. I believe you have to come here legally. I worked in the records office for immigration. And when I say we have hundreds and thousands on hundreds and thousands of applications that we go through a day. Okay? People who have been waiting to get in this country for 10, 15, 20 years. Come legally. I don't care if you're here or not. I feel like people should be able to go where they want, but do it the right way. And if you're not here under the proper guidelines and paperwork, then I can't sneak into Russia. They're going to send my ass home. I can't sneak into Mexico. They're going to send my ass home. I can't sneak into no country and just live. They're going to send my ass home. The law is the damn law. I can't just go do what I want to do in somebody else's country. It's like America's the only place that people feel like they can just do whatever. It's like, no. if I have to respect other people's laws, and even, for example, I was looking into going to Thailand and staying for a little bit, right? Because I like to travel. I love traveling. I always wanted to go to like other countries and stay for more than just a month, so I can really see and feel the real culture, right? So I was looking at Thailand. In Thailand, if I'm not mistaken, you have to every 180 days or something like that, depending on the certain visa you have, you have to fly home and then you can come back. So you can't just go and just stay. Like if you want to, you gotta have a certain visa for it. It's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot that goes into it. You can't just go and just stay there and just don't leave. Like you can be there for a certain amount of time. They make you fly your ass back to your original country, and then you can come back. You know what I'm saying? So if those are the rules there, then and I have to follow them, then people have to follow the rules here. And then you have a lot of crime that's happening, you know, in certain places with people who they can't even find. We don't even know where you at. We don't know where you came from. There's no way of tracking you or locating you, nothing. What's the immigration joint over there on off the road? That's different from the Pentagon joint? Yeah, that's different. I worked in Crystal City. So that's it's different. The office I was working for, yeah, we handled a lot of the records. Even when it come down to like education, you know, they have visas for education. They have visas for like temporary visas for you to just come over here for a couple of months and then go back, or it's a lot of different visas. It's a lot of different, you know, permissions that you can get. So even like I said with other countries, you can't just go to those countries, take a flight over there, and then never go home. That is not how that works. And those countries are of course a lot stricter than we are here. We've been very lenient when it comes to immigration. And a lot of I feel, I'm not gonna say that I don't feel for people, because you got people who have been here undocumented for years, and they have children now, and they've created families and all types of stuff. I get it. But that's some of the repercussions of not doing it the right way, you know? For the government, for a while, near the Pentagon, I believe you have to come here legally for immigration. I caught him in the morning. I caught him messing with my truck. Yeah, I mean, and then also some of these countries were dumping people here, like Venezuela. They were sending some of their prisoners here. It's like, what the? We got enough crime. we got enough crime. You know what I'm saying? It's insane. Hell no. We got people escaping charges and all type of shit, and they coming over here, you know, trying not to be found. And because they can't work no legal job, because to work legally here, you gotta have an ID, you gotta have or a license. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have paperwork. For some jobs, you gotta have a high school diploma from an accredited school, or a college degree, or so on and so forth, or a license from, you know, a trade or something like that. So that's going to push people to do what? Commit crimes. I can't legally get money, so I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it that way. The criminality these illegals be into is swept under the rug for some reason. Well, of course. Well, y'all gotta remember a lot of it was political, especially when it comes to Biden's presidency, Obama's presidency. A lot of that shit was political. A lot of them tried to usher in and even invite, like Kamala was supposed to be she's supposed to be the border czar. But she was basically supposed to be like the commander-in-chief of the border during Biden's presidency. And she was literally telling people at one point to come over here. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of it was political. And then during the election, they were allowing a lot of those people to vote without showing ID. So we had people who weren't even citizens participating in our political processes with no form of documentation. You know? So a lot of it was they wanted to use that for their advantage. Because they, especially with the last election, they knew that a lot of niggas was not fucking with Kamala. It's not fucking with her. That don't mean that people was fucking with Trump either. But a lot of people, a lot of Black Americans was not buying her bullshit. Was not buying it at all. One believing it, one going for it. None of that. So they knew that as they was going through the preparing for the campaign. They, over the course of those years, they knew that they was going to put her in position to run. They already knew that. That was the plan. So they study the numbers. They pay attention to social media. They're prepping for this years before we even go into election so that they know how to move. So they saw she wasn't doing well in the polls. People weren't really gravitating to her. We didn't really trust her. They saw all of that shit a mile away. So they told her to do that stupid ass black scent. Then she up there preaching. She went from Baptist, and then when she got around the Hispanic community, she had a Hispanic accent. Thank you. What the fuck? Then she get around the niggas and we gonna reach the mountaintop. I said, what? Who Baptist ass daddy? She done been around. What the hell is going on here? Maybe we want to fucking with her. So you think they plan for war with Iran too? I personally wouldn't speak too much on that because I haven't done enough research to know. But everything political is strategic, no matter what side of the fence. There we go. They didn't give me one strike. Everything is strategic. So I say question everything. Question everything and hear both sides. That's what I believe in. Unbiasedly. Because sometimes our biases be stopping us from seeing what we need to see. So unbiasedly question everything and unbiasedly hear both sides to see what's what. And to see how you feel about it. And allow your intuition to guide you to what feels accurate. You know, most of it is intuitive, and then the confirmation comes through everything else. What does the Ukraine war have to do with us? Can someone please tell me? Hell if I know. Well, I will say, and I'm gonna try to speak as coded as I can. The last person who was in office, the last that old man that was the last person in office. When he was in office before, with that black man, follow me. His son was making some deals under the table, allegedly, according to his laptop, with that place that you just named. So apparently they went into they got some deals going with that particular place and was making some money off of that particular place. So yeah, look into that. Hopefully y'all follow me. I don't be trying to say too much because, they be listening. They be listening. Now, Mita, they be listening. Oh, here. Look at that. Yeah, I got a YouTube. It's linked in my bio. This will be posted on there tomorrow. Can I have your number? I need some private advice. No? You can book a service though through the website linked in my bio if you need advice. You can inbox me. I know you knew that wouldn't work. Confirmation. Once I click on Facebook, it says if medication worked, you wouldn't need to refill your prescription. Good God Almighty. My. My. Can we just say that? We just talking about that. That confirmation come quick. That's what I be talking about when you tapped into something and then spirit confirms it somewhere else. That's exactly what I be talking about. That's why you gotta pay attention to everything. Cause there be confirmation everywhere. There be signs that you're on the right track. All of that. It be random. Just be minding your business. Not expecting it. And here it comes. Got to be more careful. That's what the old people say. What I'm doing, you see what I'm doing. I'm sitting here. Share. Send this email real fast. All right, y'all tired of me talking yet? I could leave. I am. I've been Gemini all month. It's been crazy. Let me. She said, now you know we can stay on here all day. I know. Hey, Miss Park. I'm gonna listen when I get home on 5%. Okay, girl. Charge that phone up. Charge that phone up. Who is this? When you gonna let me back, Miss Park? That just came to my head. I don't mean it. I don't mean it. It was just in my head. Y'all, okay. I gotta stop Gemini sometimes. But I don't like sometimes, you know, like when your family member, they dating somebody and then that person like forces themselves to be involved with like all the other family members. They want to send you requests on all social medias and all. It's too much. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know how long you're gonna be here. Maybe because that's just not how I am. Maybe I'm judging. Am I judging? I'm just not like that. I don't know. Like if your family reach out to me, then that's different. But I'm not gonna go seek out your family members and add them on social media. I just feel like that's so strange. Just me? Okay. Maybe I'm doing something. I could be. I definitely could be. You know, like, no, it ain't for no reading. This side of my family, this Christian side, this is my mama's side. They don't want to read it. Well, some of them do be sneak reading. You know how people be sneak dicking? They be sneak spiritualing. I've had a couple of them come to me for a reading. I'm like, ooh, I'm a snitch. I'm going to tell the Lord. They not even scared of the Lord finding out. They scared of everybody else finding out. Alright, all hearts and minds is clear. Y'all need anything else from me? You said, well, damn, my bad. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? First of all, hold on. Before I go, why is Iran tweeting about what they doing like they just caught they op outside? This is the craziest, most diabolical shit I've ever seen. Have y'all been on Twitter? Have y'all looked at Iran's tweets? Iran is tweeting. I mean, that shit has been blowing my mind. Who is running the account? Iran done hired Gen Z to run their Twitter account, and they on here like, yeah, caught you outside, pussy. What the fuck? They are tweeting. They are at war and they're tweeting. They're here talking about something, we're back. And then they post a picture of airstrikes. What the F? This is crazy. This should say, let it rain. Let it rain? Who did they hire to do this? And then they on here giving the tea. This is not real life. This is the most diabolical. It is hard to surprise me. Okay? As a Gemini, we consider 9,000 million options of how things could go on a daily basis. And I promise you, this is an original thought. I've never sat down and was like, yeah, one day there's going to be some countries at war and they're going to be tweeting each other. Never did that ever cross my mind. It's hard to shock me. But this right here, what? Iran news. Talking about make it rain. Who been listening to Lil Wayne in Iran? Giving us a play-by-play. The United States, we need to hire a young nigga to get on Twitter for us. No, they'll get us fucked up. Never mind. Because we don't know what to say at our mouths. This is wild, but Black Americans, woo, we are vicious with that mouth. Especially when you find one that don't give a fuck. No, we don't need that. I just thought about it. Actually, no. We'll have 79 wars going on and with 2 tweets. Never mind. That would be diabolical. We wouldn't be able to rest our head. Your gave a fuck ran out a long time ago. I mean, yeah, that's what it looked like for most people. For sure. For sure. Child, I can't. Anyway, love and light to everybody. Or darkness and chaos. I mean, whatever works for you right now. Like I said, I might be on here tomorrow night while I'm at the concert. Depending on what's going on, what's happening, I might share. If you want to be tuned in, I would say follow me on Instagram because I'm going to be posting to my story for the most part. So, link in the bio. Feel free to follow me. If you want to tune in. I'll be back on here on Thursday. We'll probably do a reading on Thursday. And Friday, I don't know if I'm going to be live Friday or not. But Monday through Thursday for sure, I'll be live each week. Not tomorrow for this week, but starting next week for sure. Ooh, my ear just started ringing. Right when I said next week, my ear just started ringing. Something about next week is significant. Interesting. That's interesting. 17th through the 25th. There's something significant about those dates. My bad, y'all. I'm trying to hear. I'm kind of zoned out for a second. Yeah, something significant. Something significant about next week. Specifically the 17th through the 25th. 17th is today. What's the 25th? What day is that next week? This shit didn't took me to calculator. I meant to go to calendar. This could be in regards to numbers. Numbers, money, numbers. Angel numbers could be significant. It's next Wednesday. That's 7 days from now. 7 could be significant. 34 could be significant. 43 could be significant. 25, 52, 61, 16. It's interesting. A J name: Joyce, Jill, Jillian, Julie, July. July could be significant. P names as well: Patrice, Patty, Purchase. I heard Purchase. I'm also hearing garage. Cars could be significant. New car. Garage. Parking. I'm seeing what's that sign, the parking sign? You know when they trying to let you know where you can and cannot park, and it be that parking sign, the P in the middle with the little thing around it. I'm seeing that too. I didn't expect to be channeling. What the hell? That was just so random, and I had to say it because I felt led to say it. So something significant for whoever's left on here. There's something about these next 7 days. Something you needed to hear, something you needed to know, confirmation on something. I just heard confirmations coming. You had me at hello. Hello. Meeting somebody. Somebody introducing themselves. Had me at hello. Top of my head just started tingling. I'm seeing somebody pull their headphones out. Like somebody saying something to you, take your headphones out so you can hear. streaming, gaming. I'm feeling the tension. You know how when you wear those headphones, they got the band on it. I'm feeling tension at the top of my head from like if you have them on too long. Some of y'all supposed to be streaming your gaming. That could be confirmation for somebody. It's random. Hearing opportunity knocks. Something about that. You had me a hello. Then I'm hearing opportunity knocks. This feels like teary-eyed. This feels like something that's gonna make you emotional, but this feels happy, positive tears, happy tears. Some sort of opportunity is coming in the next 7 days. I'm hearing a don't worry. Be happy. How you gonna hit from outside the club? You can't even get in. Fortune 500. I love you back. Fortune 500. Fortune 500 company. And as I look down, you say new job. Right after I said Fortune 500. Corporate law. Legal. I'm hearing legalities. That's what I'm hearing. Case dismissed. We have court. That could be what happens in the next 7 days. Case gets dismissed or something. Corporate. Thank you, my love. All of the lights, fast, fast, all of the lights, until it's Vegas everywhere we are. That's what's in my head. If you wanna do, you can get it all the rest of your life. Celebration. Celebratory dinner. I just heard as well. Molly music could be significant. I'm hearing Ready, Aim, Fire. I know he has a rendition of that song on YouTube. Where he's sitting at a piano. Damn, I'm hearing a lot of songs. I'm hearing that gospel song, I trust you, though it's not easy. Sometimes the pain in my life. I'm far away, but I trust you. I need to know you're here. Y'all know that song? That's interesting. Alright, I think I'm down. Saturn return. Some of y'all need to see when your Saturn return is. It's either coming up or it's here. Something significant about that. Alright, I'm done. That was random, but obviously somebody need to hear that. So take what resonates, leave the rest. We've done the pie, let it fly. Put in the pressure cooker, let it sit, let it marinate. Yeah, I'll see y'all back on here. If not tomorrow night, then definitely Thursday. I'm about to hop off. Oh yeah, Anika, ask your question. I was looking for you earlier. You came back just in time. Put your question in the comments again. I did leave religion already. We was just talking about it. What you want to fight, Cooper? It's okay to smoke trees while being spiritual. Yeah, absolutely. But with everything, take it in doses. Pace yourself. Don't go crazy. Don't go crazy. You're welcome. Thank you. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I gotta go. Because I'll be on here all day rambling. Yeah, that's all I had to say. Oh, I do have reading specials available. I have mentorship specials available. I have consultation specials available. Excuse me. I have counseling sessions available. So if you're interested, love you too, babe. If you're interested, feel free to inbox me, DM me, or you can click the link in my bio, go to the website, and purchase whatever service you need. I have one-on-one sessions and things like that. If you want to talk on a one-on-one tip. If you want a personal reading or any of those things. So check all of that out. See what resonates with you. If you have questions about it, feel free to fill out the contact form on my website, or you can just simply DM me or inbox me on any of my socials. All of that is in my bio. All right? Make sure y'all follow. Thank you to everybody who gifted, everybody who liked, everybody who commented, everybody who subscribed. Everybody who is it subscriptions on here? Yeah, it is subscriptions on here. Everybody who shared. Everybody who stayed from beginning to end. Shout out to y'all. Y'all the real MVPs. This will be posted tomorrow rising on YouTube. So if you want to watch it from the beginning, make sure you click the link in my bio and subscribe. Other than that, I will see you guys on Thursday. Okay? Peace.